Hey guys, it's me Ola, and I'm here with Jeff again, Jeff from Clicks. And this time not in Las Vegas, but in Barcelona at MWC. So Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for making some time. I know it's a busy show for you and it's a busy show for us. So appreciate you coming by and hanging out for a little bit.
Sure. I have some questions for you, and I think it's time for an update video because you just made an announcement with the keyboard layouts and the processor. But I think the most important question that I got so many times is when will we finally have it in hands? What is the release date?
Yeah, I mean, really excited to share. Everything is on track. We've committed to having working units in Q2. We're still on track to ship later this year. Beyond that, we don't have any more specifics, but everything is on target. The work is being done in the background. You've seen the announcements around processor, around keyboard layouts, around stronger than expected reservation volume. So I think if anybody has reserved, first, thank you. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for getting excited. And rest assured, the team is working really hard to deliver the product and make sure that it's amazing. And that's why we're here at MWC this week.
Okay, so you also pushed out the early bird phase, right? It's longer now. So why did you do that?
Yeah, I think it's worth clarifying. I mean, I've seen some comments in the threads, people saying, "Oh, is that a bad sign?" It's actually a really good sign, and here's why. We got way stronger than expected reservations on Communicator following the launch. In fact, we achieved our 6-month target inside of our first 30 days.
Awesome.
And that allowed us to do a few things. First off, see where the demand was coming from. And there was tons of demand, not just in North America, but around the world. And that was what informed us adding support for Quartz, for Azerty, for Arabic, as well as Korean. And we wanted to extend the early bird pricing so that we could give people in those markets the opportunity to take advantage of the promotion as well. We thought it was only fair. If we're going to add those keyboard layouts, people should be able to participate in that early bird as well. So that's why we extended it for another 2 weeks. So it's really a reflection of the enthusiasm around the product, not soft response. The second thing that stronger than expected demand allowed us to do was step up to a very strong processor and SoC with the MT8883, which is a variation of the Dimensity 8300 kind of system architecture. And the reason that we chose that chipset is because it offers all of the same performance as the Dimensity 8300, but it's a 2026 chipset and it has a longer product life cycle to it. So that means that we're able to support more Android updates, more security updates.
Okay, mixing in the power keys, the power keyboard from Clicks, will that also get the keyboard layouts like Quartz, Azerty, Arabic, Korean?
Good question. We haven't actually had that one yet this week. We haven't made any decisions around that yet. I think our focus with Power Keyboard is build a really scalable product. We've seen tremendous adoption on that and enthusiasm for that. Right now, our plan is still to focus on QWERTY only, but never say never. I mean, as you can see with Communicator, our ability to add different keyboard layouts is there. So it could be something we look at again in the future, but right now we're just sticking to QWERTY.
Okay, so you all know it all started with the Bring Back Blackberry movement.
Yeah.
So what about it? Is it still a thing or is it something else now?
I mean, it's a fair question, right? And Kevin and I spent a lot of time, because we care about the community, and a lot of people got very excited about the Bring Back Blackberry movement, and we don't want people to feel like we've bait and switched them or we're being disingenuous. When we started the project, the intention was pure, right? Bring back Blackberry, keep the spirit of Blackberry alive. And I think what we found very quickly is that the best way to actually do that is to go beyond Blackberry and build the product that we all want. And what we've been able to do with the Communicator project is create something that, quite frankly, I don't think Blackberry could ever truly do. But what the Bring Back Blackberry movement validated for us is that there is demand there for a product that lives up to the spirit of Blackberry for modern times. So in our minds, I bet if Kevin was here right now, he would say, yeah, I still, before I die, want to, own the Blackberry brand and put it on a product. But for right now, our focus is 100% on delivering the communicator experience and making sure that it lives up to the promise that we've made.
Okay. Speaking of bringing something to modern times, AI is a big thing, especially here at CES or MWC. You see AI everywhere. So is the communicator is it going to have AI capabilities built into the phone?
I think when you look at what phone companies are doing right now, everybody's clamoring to add AI because it's the sexy thing, right? It gets you the valuations, gets you the headlines. And a lot of times they're adding AI experiences that don't actually add a lot of value to customers. They're just sort of ticking a box. And when we think about why Communicator exists, it's to help you communicate with confidence in a noisy world. And the way that we're doing that is through improved context with the Signal Light, the Message Hub with the Niagara team, better input with the prompt key, the keyboard, more control, all of the reasons. None of those things require AI. And so to add AI just for the sake of adding AI runs contrary to the DNA of the product and what we're trying to achieve. Does that mean that in the future, we won't look for ways to add AI apps and services? No, we could evaluate those things provided that they stay true to the spirit of the product. But for now, we've clearly outlined why this exists, what it's looking to do, who it's for, where it fits, and we're staying focused on that.
Okay, so no AI slop is, I think it's a good answer and a good thing for many of you because people hate that.
Right.
Talking about optimization, I always thought that the screen is a square screen, but it's actually not. So a lot of people asked about app optimization, especially for a square screen. So how are you going to cope with that?
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, on the surface, it might look square, but the display is actually 1080 by 1200. So it is slightly taller than it is wide. And what that means is that when Android developers build for it, their apps will natively present themselves in portrait, right? And so there's not a lot of work we have to do from an optimization standpoint, because if you build according to the Android specifications, it'll render very well. Now, does that mean that some applications like full screen video won't have bars on them? They probably will, but I think that's actually a feature, not a bug.
Yeah.
Because this isn't a product that you're buying in order to sit there and doom scroll on TikTok all day. A little bit of friction maybe isn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
So I think people should rest assured that the display experience is going to be exactly what it needs to be for this product.
Okay, perfect. So looking at the communicator, it has a special design. It's something else. So you took a very specific design route. Why did you do that?
I mean, our goal from day one wasn't to build the smallest device. It wasn't to build the thinnest device. It was to build the most optimal object in your hand, right? And when you look at who's involved in this project, there's nobody better to do that than this team, based on our experience, legacy with Blackberry, with other smartphones, reviewing smartphones like CBK and Michael Fisher. Like, we know what a phone should feel like and how it should be designed optimally to deliver the best experience. And so that's what led to a lot of decisions that we made, something like the chin, right?
That's what I love.
Yeah, I mean, it's both form and function, right? It actually puts the keyboard at the right height off the bottom. If the keyboard is too close to the bottom of the product, your thumbs have to extend unnaturally to get to that bottom row. And so even if you look at the way that virtual keyboards are designed, there is a virtual chin at the bottom, and that's to put the keys in the right spot. I mean, there's a lot of other details. The way that the keys and the screen are at the same height, so that as you're moving from typing to touch, there's a seamless transition, or the way that the screen and the elevation of the chin create a recessed space for the keys to sit in, so that when you set it down, it doesn't scratch the keys. Like, these are the types of little details that count a lot and that we're obsessing over. Our goal from day one was never to just slap a keyboard on an Android phone and call it a day. Like, we want to design something that is really beautiful, that is going to deliver the optimal experience. And that's why we obsess over all of these little details, and are really passionate about them in a way that I just don't think you see in other platforms or other devices on the market.
Super cool. Speaking of the chin, you have those two speaker holes here. Is this a stereo speaker, or is it just one microphone and a speaker? What is it?
Yeah, no, good question. I mean, there's symmetry here with these cutouts at the bottom, but one of them is a speaker and one of them is actually a microphone. The other speaker is at the top. Our thinking right now is, even though there's two speakers on the front, to actually treat it as a mono channel, because if you think about it, the product is of a height that there isn't enough space between the two channels to actually create stereoscopic sound. So that's something we're still working through, but our focus is on audio quality. So one of the benefits of having this chin is that it creates a bigger resonance chamber for the speakers. So you're going to have deeper sound, better quality sound, speakers top and bottom. And then the other cutout here is for one of the microphones. And we've got 3 microphones on the product, one at the bottom, one at the top for noise cancellation, and one on the back, so that if you're using this as a voice recorder, you could even put it face down so that it's not distracting, and you're recording the conversation between us through the back microphone.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Talking about something else, it's just something that is coming up all of the time, and that is the comparison to the Unihertz Titan II Elite. So what is your take on it, and what do you think about that whole discussion?
I mean, it's interesting to see there's so much passion around products in the space, but if you want the real answer, we don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. We're way too focused on building not just a product, but a company, right? Like, we don't see Clicks as, making a device, right? In fact, like, if I could create a swear jar for the word device, it would be there. We're focused on building a company with, a mission and a purpose of tools to take action. And so we're not spending a lot of time thinking about this competitor, that competitor. We're looking at the road ahead, right? We've made a promise to these customers who have made reservations to deliver an amazing experience. And we're not going to get there if we're looking in the rearview mirror at people that are trying to do maybe similar things, right? I hear they're at MWC. We've been too busy, like, having meetings with carriers, partners, suppliers, vendors, apps and service providers. Haven't seen them. Right? And so, we're not spending a lot of time as a team thinking about what other people in the category are doing. We're just focused on executing on the vision that we've laid out for Communicator.
Okay. So everything is still on track with the Communicator?
Yeah, everything's perfectly on track. I mean, thanks to the support from the early reservation holders, we've gotten a better sense of what the interest is, where that interest is coming from. We're learning how people are looking to use this product, which we should come back to, because I think that's an interesting insight. But from the standpoint of the program, all of the supply chain's been identified. All of the components been identified. We've shared the processor. We're deep into the work of all of the mechanical engineering, the PCB design. We're on track to show working units in Q2, and we're still on track to ship this year. Like, that is of paramount importance to us. And all of our focus is going into making sure that we deliver on time and on quality.
Okay, that's good to know. That's actually the end of my question. So maybe let's get back to the topic of how people use it.
Yeah, I think this was really interesting. When we sat down in Vegas, we had shared the launch video. We were starting to tell the story, and we have been talking about Communicator as this, like, purpose-built communication companion that for many people it will be a secondary device. And we've heard a lot of support for that, right? We've heard from people who say, I'm going to turn this into my VIP bat phone, right? And only my family and my inner circle get the number. And so when you get a message from my Communicator, you're like important, right? We've heard from people who say, I'm going to use this as my evening and weekend phone. I'm going to move my SIM card over, and that's going to help me separate work and personal. The interesting thing, Ole, that I didn't expect was the passion from people who were like, stop calling this a secondary phone. This is going to be my daily driver, right?
Yeah.
And I just sit there, I look at the comments on the YouTube video and stuff, and they're like, whoever runs marketing at Clicks should be fired, right? And I'm like, this is great. I mean, if people want to use it as their primary, you can use it as your primary. I mean, there's nothing stopping you. If this meets all of the needs that you have, use it as your primary. I love that. We love that.
Yeah.
And it kind of validates the strategy that we've taken, right? When you have somebody like Marques Brownlee, for example, who says, I get it. It's a hyper-competitive space. By taking this positioning, they're able to focus on a specific customer, specific use case where they can be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that demonstrates that there's some method to our madness. We love that people see this as a viable primary daily driver. And I think it's just really fascinating to see all the different use cases that people envision for this, and that they already see themselves working this into their everyday lives. Like, that is so cool for our team to be able to see the response and see the feedback and know that we're solving a problem that people have.
Yeah, it's actually so fascinating how far the communicator has come in communication. Like, it seems like it's becoming mainstream, and even mainstream hears about it. So I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Well, we have a meeting room here. We don't have a booth, right? Because we're focused on doing the work, right? We're not, doing like walk by traffic or things like that. Like, we're having meetings. We're meeting with like partners, suppliers, all those things, and people will just like poke their head into the room and be like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know I reserved Communicator. Could I like just put it in my hand? Or I've ordered Power Keys. When's it coming?" Or and that's really cool. To your point on people getting the message and the story getting out there. We're meeting the types of people that are buying this product, and some people are like hardcore QWERTY enthusiasts, and that's awesome because people in that community have been waiting for a product that's for a long time. But we're also meeting a lot of people who are like iPhone users and who have said, the pain is real. I need something to take back more control. I feel like, there's so much distraction. I need something that's going to help me to stay more focused. And so it's really validating a lot of what, we've been telling around the communicator story.
Cool. Last question, like, again, a bonus question, because I've been getting that too, is when are we seeing Power Clicks? Is there a delivery date yet?
So, yes. We are, again, everything's on track. We're starting to ship at the beginning of May.
Cool.
And, we've been going through the process. We're in the process of doing all of our certifications right now. So Power Keys needs to be FCC certified for North America, needs to be CA certified for Europe. So all of that is underway. All of the application work is underway. The firmware work is nearly complete. We've gotten like our final tooling manufactured units in, and everything feels amazing. Like, the slider feels even better than what we had at CES. And we're going to be starting the deliveries of people who kind of ordered in batch 1 early in May. So we're still on track with that spring shipping timeline, and those shipments will take place over a series of weeks, starting beginning of May.
Awesome. That's it. Thank you so much.
There's got to be more. Like, this is so much fun.
Yeah. Well, you can keep going if you want to, but
I appreciate it. If you've ordered a power keyboard, or you've made a communicator reservation, thank you for your support. We're working tirelessly. Like, I think I've lost an inch of hairline since we started this, because we are just working around the clock to bring you this product, and there's nobody who cares about this more than we do. We're so passionate about it, and the entire team is rallying to make sure that you are happy and you are in love with it. So we're excited.
And you can really feel that. So thank you so much for having me here, and stay tuned. There's more to come.
Sounds good.